Listen up. I am going to save you some dollars.
Is this that dude with the money suit from the 90s on the TV?
Seriously, even if you know what's coming, this is one lame movie. I hope parents don't mistake this for a family film just because it's a holiday movie.
How could
Violent is in the name.
It's in the name.
Also, I know technically there are 8 reindeer, but we do expect to see Rudolph. It's Christmas after all.
I was promised a red-nosed reindeer.
That was a 1-star review on IMDb, and it was titled, Where's Rudolph?
Where is Rudolph?
Where is he?
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. We are Spoilers Intended, a podcast about series and films. And I am Stephen, joined as always by Andrew.
Hello.
And Ryan.
I'm here again.
He is.
Always.
He is. And
He's not leaving. Why doesn't he leave?
why won't he go home?
I sleep right there in the corner where we record.
He just
We
curls
just come
up,
down and he's here.
curls up on the carpet.
I'm like Gollum.
I have been wondering who's been living in my basement. I think I figured it out.
It's just me. I'll admit
Really?
it freely.
You come down to like check on the lasers and turn the light on. There's just this scuttling noise.
Just need to turn the basement into Home Alone.
Booby trap it?
Yeah, just maybe trap it up.
That is relevant
It is.
because we are talking about a movie that if somehow you mistook it for a family movie, you didn't see the trailer, you didn't read the title.
You did a bad job.
You just are a bad parent.
You
I'm
just did a
sorry.
bad job all
you
around.
just walked in with your, 3 9-year-old kids that
Oh,
are
yeah.
triplets. And
Look on the poster. Santa Claus has blood all over his face. Let's check this out, little Timmy.
It'll be a good one.
Yeah.
That's right. We are talking about Violent Night.
Violent night.
Oh,
No,
don't-
we're not doing
don't
that.
even-
No,
no,
we're not,
please
not doing
don't.
that. We're not going to abuse people. People are just like, turn it off, turn it off.
Some guy just swerved into a ditch.
But before we get into that, because it is ostensibly a Christmas movie,
it is.
and it is the season.
Tis the
Tis
season.
Tis the season. I feel
Yeah.
like, you're like contractually obligated.
You
can't
have to
say
say
it's
that.
the season. It's
Yeah.
tis the season.
Tis the
Yeah.
season.
I didn't even mean to say it. It just came
It
out.
just
It
happens.
just happens.
Yeah.
They just beat it into you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some other Christmas movies. How about
Sure.
maybe stuff that every year it rolls around. It's time to put this on the screen.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a film that fits into the genre of Violent Night, which is a violent Christmas movie. It can
I
be
don't-
any Christmas movie.
I'm not sure how many of those actually exist.
There's probably not that many.
There's got to be a couple.
I'm sure there has to be some, but it's really more just whatever, gives you the spirit, right?
Yeah. Get you
What
in
do
the
you
mood.
watch
Yeah.
this time of year?
Everyone's looking at me. Do I have
Yeah.
to start?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's
Okay.
because you're going first.
Oh, okay. So I'm actually going with one that just came out this season.
Okay.
That's cheating. How can you watch it every season if it just happened this year?
I will definitely rewatch this movie.
He's
Fair.
watched it every season since it's been out.
Oh,
I'll-
100%. 100% completion rate.
I'll probably actually watch it again this season, probably with other people. But so I chose the new movie called Spirited, which is Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds, and it's unfortunately only on Apple TV,
I was just about to say, tell them where you
okay.
can see it.
which is
nowhere.
really sad because I think this movie is actually quite good.
Yeah.
And it's very fun. It's a nice modern take on A Christmas Carol, and it is emphatically a musical. And so if you don't like musicals, mileage may vary.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you do like musicals, the music is really fun. It has a lot of great lyrics to it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely much more of a modern comedy kind of style. So there's going to be, I'll say, millennial humor in there, where like there's some really fun lyrics in there if you're listening to the songs.
How Will Ferrell does Will Ferrell get?
It is a very Will Ferrell film.
Okay.
So if you don't like him, you're probably not going to like this film because
Right.
he is the main one of the main characters. Ryan Reynolds is the other one.
High on the feral scale.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't really like Ryan Reynolds, and this is probably one of my favorite films that he's been in.
Okay. Cool.
He really sold out for the role, I felt, and
Yeah.
this is because he kind
In
of
a
plays
good way?
in a good way.
Okay. Just to
He-
clarify.
Yeah, he kind of plays himself in a lot of his films.
Yeah.
Right.
And this one, he plays himself, but in a much more endearing way. The
Mhm.
film has quite a lot of heart to it, and I've been listening to the soundtrack past couple days, and I know whenever our family and stuff are in town for the Christmas holiday, we're definitely going to watch it with them.
Yeah.
And I mean, it got me into the spirit of Christmas.
Cool.
So
And how long of a movie is it? Like
it's
2
like
hours?
it's like right at 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Ryan, do you think you can do it? Can you endure
I'll
2
try.
hours
I mean,
of a
like
musical?
our Apple TV Plus trial ended. We've gone through 2 of them because they give those things out at like Subway nowadays.
well, yeah, because
but-
no one's on it.
yeah, like you can get one.
But who goes to Subway? How do you get
I
one?
got
mean,
one
honestly.
from like, or we got one from like a new iPhone purchase. They're like, here, please try this Apple TV. We watched
Yeah.
all of Ted Lasso in like 2 weeks, and then we're like, I don't know if there's anything else. You know? And then I can't remember why we got the second trial, but it was like another like
Severance or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
it was
Severance
something.
looked cool.
I didn't watch that one. That was on my
Yeah.
list to get to, and I didn't get to it before it ran out. But one of these days, I'll get Apple TV Plus again. And
Yeah,
Check it
I
out.
hope that they kind of open up the gates a little bit and allow other streaming services to watch it, but they probably won't because they want everyone.
it's probably an exclusive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Funded by them.
I'm
probably?
pretty sure it
Most
was.
likely.
Do you know
yeah.
anything about who directed it or who?
I couldn't remember.
Did it bring us any info?
No, I'll definitely
That's fine.
tell
I'll
ya.
definitely say though that the production value, especially for the dance numbers
Mhm.
and musical numbers, are phenomenal.
Top notch.
It really feels like like the whole cast, crew, actors, production, everyone's sold out for this specifically.
Yeah.
And you can tell that there is a lot of passion with it. I think,
That's good.
and it doesn't feel soulless. There's a lot of heart to it, and
Doesn't feel like a cash in or
no.
anything like that. Yeah.
It really felt genuine when we were watching it.
Sweet.
So, Ryan.
I'm gonna go 1988.
Okay.
A Richard Donner movie
Okay.
starring Bill Murray.
Oh no.
We're going Scrooge,
Oh,
baby.
God. I was just saying how much I hate this. movie.
How
we
do you
discussed
hate
this in the
Scrooge?
car, and he was like, "I hate that movie." I was like,
because
"Really?"
it is the most emphatically Bill Murray show,
Yeah.
and he just yells the whole time.
Yeah.
and I can't stand it.
Wow. Okay. I'm sorry for you because it's amazing and I watch it about once a year on Christmas.
Perfect. Ryan and
I've loved it since
BFFs.
childhood. I love Bill Murray. I love Scrooge. Go away, Andrew.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always loved this movie. I
Are
saw
we just
it.
doing favorite
No, just
Christmas
just
Carol interpretations around here?
Well, I guess we are.
I
Yeah,
maybe,
so
yeah.
far,
So
yeah.
far,
I was
two
like,
for
do I
two.
feel like I'm bucking the
No,
trend?
I mean,
or-
like, I watch Die Hard every year, but that's more of just like a tradition. I still don't know that Die Hard is like
a Christmas
necessarily
movie.
a Christmas
It's a
movie.
Christmas movie.
It is, but it's not
We should
like.
put that as a Patreon bonus episode so we can really fight about that.
Okay, cool.
I'm down.
I don't think it'd be a long
I don't
episode.
think it'd be like 5 minutes.
We'd agree pretty quickly.
Aw,
But
sad.
I do watch it, but I was like, that's too on the nose. Everybody does that now. Like,
Yeah.
I watch Die Hard. Cool. I've been doing that for years.
I was doing that before it was
and-
cool.
I mean, Christmas Vacation is probably the one that's like guaranteed, either if it's on TV or we're going to stream it. Like,
It'll be on.
yeah, if we're decorating, putting the tree up, we
Mhm.
put Christmas Vacation on.
Yeah.
I love that one. But yeah, for me, Scrooge is the one that's like, I seek it out. I try to find it every
Mhm.
year. Whereas Christmas Vacation, I feel like it's just everywhere.
It's
That-
hard
that
to
was-
avoid it.
It's hard to avoid. Yeah.
So Holly had never seen this film, and that was our first Christmas film that we watched this year.
Mhm.
Oh man,
Talking about what?
I thought,
Scrooge.
I thought you don't
Scrooge.
like it.
Why'd you watch it if you don't
Yeah,
like it? Yeah.
no.
no,
like it.
I was building a model, so I was mostly not paying attention to it.
Okay.
Because
So-
I had
but did
seen the
she
film
like
before. No, she hated it.
Oh, well.
Wow, incredible.
This house,
Steven,
I
do
tell
you
you,
like it though?
This house has bad taste. Yeah.
Yeah. This is like the lady from Poltergeist. This house has bad taste. She walks out.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie. I've watched it, many years going.
Well,
Yeah.
Explain what the film is, because we've been.
Oh, sorry.
tangent-
Yeah, we
We've
just
gone
kinda
around
danced
and around.
on it.
Yeah.
So, Bill Murray is a selfish, cynical television executive who is haunted by 3 spirits bearing lessons on Christmas Eve.
So it's a modernized Christmas.
Yeah, but it's all centered around he's like a TV executive,
Yeah.
and like his boss at one point is like giving him this thing of like, we got to make a channel for cats and dogs. There's gonna do you know how many millions of cats and dogs there are? And he's like, I don't have that information. And he's like just a soulless TV exec.
Yeah.
He's like Scrooge, but he's just like mean to everybody.
Mhm.
And then it's the same remix of the Christmas Carol. 3 ghosts visit him, and he learns the error of his ways, and then changes by the end. And it's got
Bill Murray,
Karen Allen. Karen Allen plays his I think it's like former girlfriend.
his ex.
Yeah, I don't think they're like ex like they're not divorced. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
like his
yeah,
ex
just-
ex
Just
girlfriend.
his last girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got Bobcat Goldthwait's in it. He's funny. Carol Kane, she's the one who plays the really high pitched
She's the ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
She is insane.
She's fun. And then Robert Mitchum plays his boss, and he's just like such a good like hard, like no smiles,
Yeah.
deadpan everything, and it like works
No
for
nonsense,
comedy. Whereas
yeah.
like he's not even trying to be funny necessarily. He's just being serious, and
Yeah.
it just like plays. Yeah, and I don't want to say too much else to spoil it, but it's the same basic
It's a
formula.
Christmas Carol.
Yeah,
It's
Christmas
hard to
Carol.
spoil it, but it
Yeah.
has its own twists.
It does. It has its own twists, and I don't know. I just, for me, maybe it's because I saw it as a kid. I loved it as a kid.
Yeah.
And then,
But that's totally fair. There
Yeah.
are a lot of bad films that I watched when I was a kid that I still like.
well, it's a very good film. Anyway,
It's a good film, yeah.
so when did you see it? Just out of curiosity, for the first
Probably
time.
when I was in college.
Okay.
But it and Muppet Christmas Carol are like my two.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch Christmas Carol. Those two are going to get hit in Christmas time.
Those are the ones that are, I watched Muppet Christmas Carol quite a bit too.
Okay, so Steven?
So in an effort to not make this
Was yours
just-
going to be Muppet Christmas
No,
Carol?
it wasn't.
He did Muppet Christmas Carol last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in an effort to not just make this in your favorite interpretation of A Christmas Carol, we are instead going to go with Christmas Story.
Oh, classic. Yeah.
Classic.
So 1983, even though it's set in like the 40s or like very early.
I think it's early.
50s.
No, it's in the
60s.
1940s.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Is,
it? Okay.
is the setting? That's
Oh, yeah,
that's
because
what
they got the
IM
Orphan Annie.
Yeah,
the
that's
version.
what
you're right.
IMDb claims.
Yeah.
Orphan
Yeah.
Annie. I mean,
Yeah.
you listen to it on the radio. It's not like he's watching TV or
Right,
something.
yeah.
So this is an absolute classic because TNT said it must be, and apparently they got it real cheap. And then you get 24 hours of this every Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I used to watch the crap out of it on cable. I don't have cable anymore. I have it on DVD.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have a full size leg lamp that is in my window year round.
I've got a small one. It's not full size. I got to stand down on
This
this
is the
one.
full size.
He does have the like
Yeah.
lamp.
It's full size, yeah. I honestly just the mix of kind of the dysfunctional family interactions in this movie every time gets me. It's one of those movies where it's kind of like Monty Python,
Yeah.
where it's endlessly quotable.
So what is the basic story or the basic
The basic
plot?
story is you have Ralphie, who's
Yep.
our protagonist, and his goal is to get a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas, as
Yeah.
all good red-blooded American children should.
Yeah.
So he's basically trying to get this to Santa, to his parents, and he's always getting shot down with the line of, "Well, you'll shoot
You'll
your
shoot
eye
your
out."
eye out. Yeah.
And so it's like this big epic quest for like a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few movies I think where outside of like Morgan Freeman, I just accept narration
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because without the narration, it would not work.
Oh, no. The
No,
narration is the movie.
It sells it, yeah. And it's just the retelling, like the very flat, like very, very serious, very basic. And these encounters, like, you like the encounter with like the bully in the schoolyard, right?
Yeah.
And when you're a kid, like that is a devastating, huge event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like the way they react to it and play off of it, it just, these kinds of hits that just keep happening are perfect. I love his dad.
Oh, his dad's amazing.
And I should have pulled up. Let me scroll.
Well, so my favorite scene in the
Uh-huh.
whole thing too, and this is something the movie does really well, is it captures like the child's imagination.
Uh-huh.
Favorite scene bar none is the soap poisoning. After his mom washes his mouth out with soap and he comes to the door and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got the cane and they're like, "Ralphie, what's wrong?" He's like, "I'm blind." And they're like, "Oh, what happened?" He's like, "Soap poisoning." And then
My
his
parents are going to regret.
It's just
yeah.
that daydreaming
Yeah.
that kids do where they're like, "That'll teach them," you know.
I think my favorite scene of the whole film is when at the family's at their lowest low after the dogs have eaten the turkey.
the Chinese
and they're at the
restaurant.
Chinese restaurant. They're singing.
Yeah.
And they're just like cutting the duck and just
no,
like
he's
just
like,
crying.
It's still
over.
got a face on it. Oh, I got it. Bah! He just whacks
like
the
that
knife.
kind of like it's like dark comedy a little bit.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is. It is.
yeah.
Well, it's just these kinds of events because most Christmas movies are kind of like it's the perfect Christmas. You're home for the holidays, it's
Yeah.
the family, and this is kind of like what if the perfect Christmas where everything just constantly goes wrong. He plugs in the tree and it shorts out the fuse.
It's a Wonderful
they go
Life,
down.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got that just daisy chain of
Yeah.
things plugged in. It's
Massive
just like,
fire
this
hazard.
is such a fire hazard.
But
Yeah.
it still has the heart. Like
it does.
like the his dad, who again gets some of the best lines.
Yeah.
I feel like still comes through, and you can still tell they love their kids and all this, but it's just that kind of
Yeah.
there's that tough love.
Well, as
and-
you've gotten older, you've just grown more accustomed to being a grumpy old man. It's
yeah,
not-
no, I identify with
I
what's
see
going
what this
on
guy
there.
does.
Yeah.
Get these hound dogs out of this kitchen.
Yeah, no, I love the scene when he visits the mall Santa.
Yeah.
Which,
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
it's just what a baller mall
shoot your
Santa.
eye out,
He'll
kid.
shoot your, and he pushes him down the slide.
Ho, ho,
ho.
Yeah.
It's just it's stuff like that, man. It's just boom, 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 over and over and over again. Where it's not one of those things where Will Ferrell looks at the camera and winks because he knows you're supposed to laugh for this. It's just funny, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It is one of those
digs in
movies
there.
too that like similar to Christmas Vacation, where I think I could watch it a million times and never really get tired of it.
No,
Like every
no,
time I
he's-
watch Christmas Story or it's on, it's just like, well, this is staying on.
Yeah.
Like
It,
it's
doesn't matter when
also-
you jump into it.
It's
either.
also a really short movie. It's only an hour 30.
yeah, like Christmas Story has always been one of those where like I won't really personally seek it out.
Mhm.
Just I've seen it a lot, but if it's
Yeah.
on, I'll absolutely watch it, and
Yeah.
I'll still enjoy it. Like it's a good movie. It's fun.
So now, have either of you watched the sequel that just came out on
No.
HBO?
No, I was gonna mention it,
either.
but I haven't heard a single thing about it.
I've had two people, neither of whom I trust, say it was good.
Oh no.
Now, not that I don't trust them because they have bad opinions, just
Yeah.
like I don't think I see eye to eye with them
Yeah.
on movies and stuff.
Right.
So I'm still extremely leery, but I've heard two people say it's pretty
Hmm.
good.
Okay.
It's in the same style. It's set in the 70s or 60s
yeah, it's got to be in
it's
the
like
70s or 60s.
he's
grown
aged up
Yeah.
the same as the actor has, and
Mhm.
he's trying to have the perfect Christmas and kind of
Yeah.
same idea, but just reverse. He's the dad, but
Mhm.
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't verify if it's good or not. But I do want to check it out of curiosity. I'm not super
Morbid curiosity.
Yeah, morbid curiosity. I would love to be surprised, and it'd be incredible.
I mean, like whenever you see these sequels or even prequels or whatever that kind of come out, you always want to be surprised. You don't want it to be bad, right?
No.
Like you don't go into this like, oh, this is just going to be terrible.
And I would hope that if they waited this long to do a sequel, that it's
They do it right.
the
They did it right, yeah.
They take the Tom Cruise approach.
Why cash in like almost 40 years later? You know, like
nostalgia. That's why.
Well,
I
when you're-
guess, but it
you know,
just, you know.
Coke habit only keeps up for so long. I mean, what?
Wow.
No, it stays forever, Steve.
All right.
All right. Back to the main event
Yes.
for the episode.
Yes.
We are talking 2022's just came out, Violent Night.
Fresh
So,
off the presses.
fresh off the presses. So first, maybe a little background, little
Information.
bit of info on it.
Yeah.
So this is directed by Tommy Wirkola.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I've
Wirkola? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Ricola.
Wirkola. No. The only name of the movies of stuff he's done in the past I recognize was Dead Snow.
I haven't even heard of that.
I've seen that.
But
one.
I've literally heard of it, and that is about as far as I've gone with
Yeah.
it. So take that with a grain of salt as you will. The writing team is the same writing team from 2020's Sonic the Hedgehog,
Oh, that's interesting.
which I thought was interesting because
yeah.
we're gonna make some analysis comparisons here a little later.
Oh, I don't know if can you compare Sonic in this movie?
I was gonna say, I'm excited to hear what you're gonna do.
no. So the other side of compare is contrast.
Oh,
You
okay.
can contrast a lot.
Shit, there's no hedgehog in this movie at all.
The music is by Dominic Lewis,
Okay.
who just a quick look at his repertoire: Bullet Train,
Oh.
The King's
Hmm.
Man,
Oh.
Okay.
and Spirited.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I
Wow.
figured we'd take you on a journey here.
yeah, that was a roller coaster.
Yeah. So whoa. So this is starring David Harbour, John
Mhm.
Leguizamo,
Johnny Legs.
Yep.
Alex Hassel, Leah Brody, and Beverly D'Angelo.
So basically, there are two names on there that people will recognize, and
Well-
then everyone else in the film is probably someone you won't.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's David Harbour, who's from like that little known Netflix series
Called, like, Stranger Things or
Yeah,
something?
some people have, I don't know, people have seen it.
What's that silly one he did where he plays his dad doing Frankenstein, the play on Netflix? Have you seen that one?
No,
No.
Insane. It's like 3 episodes. It's like a failed stage play, and it's like David Harbour's like, this is footage of my father, David Harbour scene. And it's like, obviously just him.
David Harbour also was Hellboy, wasn't he?
The
No.
second one.
Oh,
second-
second
yeah,
Ron
yeah.
Perlman was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ron
Ron
Perlman
Perlman
Del
was
Toro.
Yeah,
first.
Ron Perlman
yeah.
was the first one, and then the second one was David Harbour.
Yeah, and David Harbour regrets it immensely.
Yeah.
I
He
bet.
said a lot of interviews where, because it flopped, and he was like, what I've learned is I'm never going to touch an established IP again.
No, that's probably a good idea.
But everything I
Yeah.
read about that movie,
there's already a lot of problems.
was
with
it like,
there are
it's not
issues.
that you tread on an IP, it's that y'all did it the wrong way.
Yeah. He was also, I forget the character, but in the Black Widow movie.
Oh yeah, he was the
Crimson
Red Menace or no?
Crimson Star? Something like
Crimson
that?
Star or
Yeah,
something.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, I saw an interview with him talking to, I don't know, one of the late night hosts where he's like upset about the fact that he speaks in a Russian accent. Because he's like, I'm playing a Russian character in Russia. He's not speaking English. He's speaking Russian. I should have just been subtitled.
Yeah.
He was like legitimately mad about it. And I was like, whoa.
yeah.
I mean, I definitely kind of agree. Like, if you're going to play a character, this is why I like Hunt for Red October. I do.
But
But they
I
aggressively
really
ignore the fact.
Yeah, I really wish that they actually would have just had all of them speaking in Russian.
Sean Connery's like, I'm not speaking
Yeah,
Russian.
that's probably what it was.
That's for commies.
I speak how I speak.
All right, sorry, tangent.
No. Yeah, okay, that's totally fine.
One
Totally
ping and one
acceptable.
ping only.
So storyline on this synopsis: this is a team of elite mercenaries break into a wealthy family compound on Christmas Eve, taking everyone inside hostage. But the team isn't prepared for a surprise combatant. Santa Claus is on the grounds, and he's about to show why this Nick is no saint.
Got him.
And that is pretty much a perfect encapsulation of what the
Yeah.
movie is going to be about.
And you pretty much don't really need to know
You
anything
don't really
else.
need to know
I
much
mean,
else.
the poster for this movie probably tells you everything you need, you know?
So this is a budget of $20 million.
Okay, so pretty
Mhm.
low.
Right.
Yeah.
First week in box office, because we don't have a whole lot else to go by,
Yeah.
is $20.8 million.
That's actually not terrible.
It's not bad. I mean,
No.
I don't know
I
about
think
y'all.
that's better than probably what they would expect.
It is. I think the expected was like 10 or 15.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
good
So
then
it's
because
just better.
you basically made your quotation marks budget.
Yeah.
You obviously not advertising, but
But like for first weekend, presumably, hopefully you get some word of mouth, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. People like us sit around and talk about it. I don't know.
Well, and this will probably run through into the new year.
100%.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah,
like
it's got
it's
several
got
weeks
plenty
ahead.
of weeks to catch a little bit of steam.
So
here
I
and
don't
there.
know what y'all's theaters were like.
ours was packed.
Really?
Yeah.
We went on like a Sunday morning at 11, and it was us and one dude.
Yeah, I must say we went on a Tuesday night and it was us and like 4 other people.
Well, so we went Saturday evening.
Okay, so like
Prime
peak-
time.
peak
Yeah, prime
movie
time.
time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was it a big theater, or like a normal size
It was
theater?
it
or
was the
small one?
Vestavia Theater, so it was the dine-in.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, it's packed. Yeah, they seat 40 people in there.
It was a full theater.
Yeah.
Still more than Ryan and I's showings
Yes.
combined.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thoughts?
Yeah. Okay. Everyone looks at me.
I'll go off. I'll go first. Okay.
It's just natural. I don't know.
I know. I don't know why it is. I always look at Andrew.
I want to blame Andrew for everything. It's like
Yeah.
something falls on the ground. Andrew.
I thought it was fine. It is what it is. You know, like I feel like my biggest disappointment from it was that the action and the comedy never in either category elevates it to the point of like, oh man, this is really, really good action, or oh man, this is hilarious. It's
Yeah.
always just like cruising.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like the in between, like, parts in the movie, like the heartfelt stuff, fell completely flat and was a waste of time. I wish they would have just committed wholesale to just hard comedy
Mhm.
and been like just over the top, even more so in some scenes. Because
Yeah.
I laughed quite a bit. There was some stuff that made me laugh, but it wasn't like I would not say this is a great movie, you got to see it, but it was fine. It was what it was. Like, looking at the trailer, it's pretty clear.
It's exactly what you thought you were
It's
gonna get.
exactly what it is,
Yeah.
and so it's not bad, but I feel like it's made for like Netflix, or this should have been a streaming release. I think it would have probably, well, I mean, it's doing good in theaters, but it feels, you see that $20 million budget every now and then,
Yeah.
and not that a movie like this needs more. It just, for me, it was fine. It
Yeah.
was okay. Andrew,
I was kind of on the same realm. I did enjoy it.
yeah,
I'm not really big on like the really graphic violence.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a couple of moments in this that were a little too much.
little over the top.
But even then, like, what you're signing up for when you go see a movie like this.
sure,
Mhm.
yeah,
And there were some really fun fight scenes in there, but then there are also some other ones that didn't really do it for me.
yeah,
Or they just went on really long.
They just went on for a long time.
Yeah.
Or some, like, honestly, the thing that really got me was their blocking for a couple action sequences didn't really make a
You
lot
have
of
no
sense.
idea what's going on. Yeah.
And then, kind of like what Ryan said, a lot of the heartfelt moments just did not work at all.
they just didn't need to be in
There was only like one scene in there that was really good that
Mhm.
I really liked that I'll bring up obviously
Yeah.
in the spoiler wall.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
Like it is not a film that if someone like, hey, let's watch Violent Night, I'm like, yeah, sure, throw it on.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm gonna probably work on something.
I'll
while
go
this
do
is,
something
yeah,
else, but I'll listen to it and I'll come in on the parts that I remember I liked.
Yeah.
yeah.
Steven?
Yeah, I think we are pretty well consensus here. This is kind of an aggressively fine movie.
Yeah.
So, and this is kind of to its disadvantage because all I can think about was, two of the other action movies I saw this year, which would be Bullet Train
Yeah.
Mhm.
and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah. Where the
So-
action is so well choreographed.
Well, it's not because I don't think the action here was poorly choreographed.
no,
per
it was.
se,
It was good.
but both of those movies were really high on action, right?
Yeah.
And I think Bullet Train was really high on charm.
Yeah.
And Everything Everywhere was really high on heart, right? It had
Yeah.
a lot of heartfelt moments. And while both of those movies had, like Bullet Train had some heartfelt stuff and Everything Everywhere certainly had its charm,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't maybe the category it excelled at, but the other two categories it excelled at.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Violent Night has all three of these items, but I don't know that any one of them
Really
elevates.
peaks.
Right.
Yeah.
It had some charming moments, but it was never like, this is charm. I'm like, Bullet Train, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to our reviews on either of those movies, shameless plug,
Check them out.
check it out, spoilersintendedpodcast.com, because I think we love those.
We did.
Bullet Train was okay.
Get
We
out of
love
here.
those.
Get out of here.
But
It was better than this.
Yes, but-
I'll say that.
Violent Night really never hit a high point in any one of those categories, which is kind of what I wanted out of this. You see the trailer and you're like, okay, this is one of those where they could really elevate the concept
Yeah.
Yeah.
and either really hit hard, in the feels or hit with the comedy or the action is just, mwah, chef's kiss. And none of those really happen, right?
So they're like, now I definitely will say that John Leguizamo and David Harbour did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
Like
two of them, I was going to say, I'll save it for,
Yeah.
performance for sure. But like both of them, I thought did really good.
Yeah, they basically carried the film on their back.
100%.
They should have a lot of back pain now.
kicking and screaming.
Yeah, and the rest of the cast didn't really do it for me at all. They kind of
Mhm.
felt like deer in the headlights a lot of times. But there are like, this is not a bad film. It's just
No.
aggressively average.
It
I mean-
never fully achieves greatness in any category.
They should have sold out one way or another.
Yeah.
They should have picked either it's just the most over the top action, which they went, over the top with like the violence and the gore.
Yeah.
But the actual like action sequences, there were a couple of fights that I thought like, oh yeah, this is good. And then there were a couple of fights that were just like, get on with it.
Yeah. Let's finish
Yeah.
this up.
Move along, people. Because I mean, this is only an hour and 40 minutes long.
It
And
felt a lot longer
Well,
than
it
it probably
felt
was.
really long.
There's some editing and pacing issues too
Uh-huh.
throughout that they could have tightened up. But I think it reminds me of like in the middle of Death Proof where they have like the fake trailers that like one of them was Machete that then later turned into a full movie
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
or like a SNL parody trailer. This feels like it could have started life as like a fake trailer on Saturday Night Live,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't have enough meat on the bone to be a full movie.
Yeah.
You know, like it well, at least this version of it, they didn't quite flesh it out in any direction enough to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It wasn't bad though. I want to reiterate that it's not like I don't want to bag on it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
Yeah.
we're kind of at the point now. So we're not just regurgitating the same thing that we
Yes.
just said. Do we recommend it? Do we not recommend it?
I would recommend it when it comes to streaming.
Yeah.
Don't go see it in theater. I don't think it's worth, making the trip and doing all that.
Catch it on a matinee if you're going to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get it on a matinee, or I would say just wait till it comes out on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something.
Yeah.
wherever it ultimately lands.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I wouldn't, this is not, rush out and go see it,
Mm-mm.
Obviously, it is the season, and if you want to watch it this Christmas season, you probably will have to go to the theaters.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, catch it on a matinee.
Catch it on a matinee, yeah, or Tuesday night, cheap nights at AMC.
Yep.
Or, but I don't know. Also, I question, next year, am I going to watch this? I don't know. Maybe.
I mean,
if I really want just a violent, for whatever reason, it's December,
Well,
and I'm
no-
like, I want violent, and I also want Christmas.
I mean,
Yeah, I'll put it on.
yeah, well, so I think what they were trying to achieve here is like everyone's like, "Oh, Die Hard's a Christmas
Yeah,
movie."
no, they were
And
absolutely.
then they're like, "Actually, what if we just made Die Hard a Christmas movie?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is what they came up with.
And let's sprinkle a little bit of Home Alone on top. Not
A
a
little-
lot,
a
just
little
a
bit,
little.
yeah.
Just a
It's a treat.
dusting, a light dusting of Home Alone
And
across it.
I did like that bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would probably recommend this to go watch it on streaming, or if you are going to catch it in a matinee. Just because, like, I don't think it's worth the full ticket price, but
No.
it's probably worth the $7 or $8 if you're going to go.
And now, if you're a big fan of gory violence,
Oh yeah,
hacker slasher
Well,
kind of stuff,
or if you
Go
just
for it.
really like David Harbour, like he does a good job.
yeah, that is true. Now, if you are a big fan of him,
Or John
or
Leguizamo,
like
he-
the two of them do not fail this film at all.
No. If you like Johnny Legs or David Harbour, it's
Yeah,
worth the watch
it's
right there.
totally worth
Yeah.
it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they sell out for what they do in the
The
film.
full extent of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole way. This is the spoiler wall. We are coming right up on time for spoilers, but before we get there, if you haven't seen it and you have to leave us, that is okay. Like we said, it's not a rush out, but catch it where you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you liked what you heard, you want to check out our other content, spoilersintendedpodcast.com is our website. It's a great place to see our latest episode, or listen to our latest episode, listen to old episodes, check out, maybe learn a little more about the cast.
Yep.
We'd love it. If you want to go out and listen to a couple other episodes, I already threw out Bullet Train and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
We also have stuff like Black Panther or
Prey.
Prey.
This is all action stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
James Bond, that kind of thing. Also, we also have a Discord. If
Yep.
you would love, we would love you to come and hang out on Discord with us. We
Chat with us about all kinds of things.
Yeah,
We
it's
talk
totally
about
free. You
Yeah.
just jump in there,
Yep,
start
video
talking with us.
games, music, other things we're watching.
Yeah, stuff that
all
may
sorts of stuff.
not be episodes or may become reviews. You never know. If enough people really want to see it, we might have to go watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out.
I was gonna say also like follow us on social. Definitely if you see us post something, please like it and share it. We want to spread the word about the podcast. And if you get a second, definitely leave us a review on your podcast service of choice.
Preferably iTunes.
Man, if you listen to iTunes, we'd love a review.
Sure would.
Their algorithm is great for podcasts. If you could just review that bad boy.
All right,
Yeah.
enough shameless shilling. It is on to the spoilers. Okay, welcome back, everybody. If somehow you didn't get the message, it is all spoilers
All the time.
All the way down.
from here on out, and we're gonna talk about some spectacle to kick it off.
Yeah.
How we feeling?
I'm
Looking at Andrew. I'm gonna stop. No, I know. Ryan, go first.
I looked at Andrew too. Right at him.
I'm staring straight at him.
Yeah.
Dang it.
It was okay. I think the biggest thing that held the spectacle back for me was the editing. There were a few scenes that could have been tightened up on the edit.
The scene, the fight scene in the shed just completely killed all the momentum for me.
Oh, it
Yeah.
goes for like 15 minutes.
It-
It's forever.
And it doesn't make any sense.
No, like he killed like 100
How
people
big
in there.
is that shed?
Right.
he
No,
killed a
like
ton of
logistically, it's as if they shot like a bunch of different versions of like, well, maybe you could do this and this. And when they edited, they were like, put them all in.
Put them all in.
Yeah.
Put everything in. The other thing too, so for me, the costumes were pretty good. Like I thought his Santa outfit
Oh,
was,
yeah,
was
his
good.
Santa outfit was great. Yeah.
The house was cool.
Even though it's the largest house ever built,
Right.
It's like Madame Curie's house. I didn't.
Oh, is it?
well, no. It's like that's,
Oh, really?
That's the joke.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's.
I mean, I didn't find. I think the house is perfectly acceptable as a very wealthy family's house.
I don't know. We'll get into that. In
Well,
plot.
you want to go into plot? I know what you're going to harp on. It's okay.
Listen, just let him have it.
Let
Okay.
it slide. Christmas
So,
magic.
The cinematography was fine.
Yeah.
The special effects were okay, especially for $20 million. I think they did better than I would have
the
assumed.
CGI was acceptable for what it was.
The reindeers looked good.
Yeah.
There was a couple of like CG blood, like, additions that like stood out, but they most try to keep it in like dark scenes to kind of
Yeah.
hide that, which I think worked for the most part.
Mhm.
For me, yeah, it was like the editing, like specifically the one scene that really stood out to me as poorly edited or could have been tightened up was when the two different robbers who believe he's Santa are trying to get the girl in the attic and the Home Alone stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And he's already fallen on the step and he's taking the nail out or whatever.
Mhm.
And she's rolling the bowling balls and they're like coming down and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the way they cut it was like He takes the nail, he looks up at it. 2 balls roll under, they cut to the attic and 2 balls roll out into the thing. Then they cut back to him and it's a different angle of him really looking at it.
I just really want to know
Then they cut back to the
nail.
lady and she's moving some of the bowling balls.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to him. He sees it. Then he's still holding the nail and then it comes down and hits him. And it's like, that could have been, she passes the bowling ball and it cuts right to him going, huh, and it hits.
Yeah.
You know, like that could have been, it would have been funnier if it happened quicker.
Yeah, it's just hung on a little bit too long.
Yeah, and that's indicative of like a lot of the scenes where like there'll be an action scene like in the barn or something, and it just it overstays its welcome a little bit, and it could have been tightened up. And you know, so for me, the spectacle was fine. It for being $20 million, I think it looks pretty good overall. Like considering the low budget and how much of that probably went to the actors. You know, how much was for special effects? Probably not a whole lot. And I think they did pretty good with what they had, but it's not going to blow you away.
Yeah. I'm going to make Andrew go last because he keeps complaining about going first.
Yeah.
Take all his points.
I doubt you're going to take my
No, you're
point.
fine.
Yeah.
So the CGI that was there was pretty well done. And the blood, I think the blood was really meant to just be really over the top anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, he hooked a dude to a thresher or whatever, and they went full Fargo on him.
Yeah.
But like the little magic effects, right? When he goes up the chimney and stuff.
Those
look
pretty
good.
good.
Yeah. It's a Christmas movie, right? You know, the reindeer were reindeer. They're on point. The house was pretty cool. You know, I love the decor. Like it felt like these are super wealthy.
Yeah, like
people.
absurd wealth.
Like when the estranged wife is like, I just can't believe you grew up like this. And it's like, I'm also just sitting there going like, holy crap.
And people do grow up like that.
Yeah. There are definitely houses out there that are like that.
Yeah.
You know, the fight scenes, especially the tool shed was the really egregious one where we didn't get to know what was going on. And it went forever. And I swear, they sent a squad of 8 people in there and he killed like 60 people.
Well, and again, that's the same thing of that scene had some fun moments and some creative kills.
There were a
and
couple
stuff.
of good beats that if they'd gone, kind of like you're talking about the bowling ball, where they'd just gone boom, 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 and we're over, it would have been great.
Yeah.
And because like even the end cap, right, with the hand grenade, that was a great scene. Especially him like walking away, like, no, I gotta watch it. Yeah. Like perfect. If that had come off of just a real quick snappy fight,
it would have been good. Like
yeah,
end cap.
just like their pacing was just a little too slow.
Oh, it was a lot too slow, and it's in plot and entertainment. It's going to show up again because it hurts other elements.
Yeah.
Andrew.
So I'm kind of on the same realm. The first real like scuffle that he has with the guy that gets thrown off onto the spike. Like I actually did like that fight because it was pretty much all a single take of what they were doing, which I was like, oh, that's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I'm excited for the rest of this film.
Oh man, this is what the action sequences are like throughout. Heck yeah, like we're really fighting here.
Yeah, and even the fight with the guy in the little arcade
down
in the basement, that was good.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then the pacing just completely tanks the second that he goes and gets the hammer because I really feel that they didn't understand how to block the fight and make it logistically possible for him to sneak up on like an entire squad of guys.
Dudes with guns who never get to fire a shot for unknown reasons.
So the final fight with Mr. Scrooge was actually quite well done. I really enjoyed a lot of the dynamics that they had. Like once they get off the snow speeders, right?
The snowmobiles.
Snow speeders. Where this is in Star Wars.
What the heck?
Whenever they get off the snowmobiles,
go get those AT-ATs. Like, come on.
and they really show you that like Mr. Scrooge was clearly prepared, and he has ice cleats on. That is
good.
Helping him gain an edge, and the only reason why Santa won is basically because of magic.
Yeah,
and which, like, the second that you see the chimney, you know exactly what's going to happen.
Well, see, I didn't know he was going to drag him with him, though. I was like, I thought he was going to, like, go up to the top of it and jump
down.
off.
Yeah.
Instead,
that's what I expected.
And I was like, my God.
Just grind him down.
Just this ham hock he's holding in the middle afterwards. I was like, yikes.
But I did enjoy that final fight because you knew exactly how it was going to go down, but you're just like, this is it. But
I didn't expect the way that he kills him to happen, but I was definitely like, oh, he's gonna go up the chimney and like get the reversal.
Something with the chimney,
and then they hit you with that. I was like, oh,
The other thing well, there's more of a plot. Never mind. We'll continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've covered it on spectacle.
Sure,
It,
yeah.
it was pretty good for the budget. The going up the chimney special effects looked pretty good. Most of the gore was okay. Fight scenes were all right.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were fine.
I mean, again, we had 2 really good fight scenes.
Yeah,
3 really, actually, honestly, pretty good fight scenes, and
Yeah.
then 1 in the middle that just kind of wrecked everything.
Yeah,
I
it
feel like
really
there's
just
a
ruined a lot of the pacing.
a couple of minor ones too that were just kind of like functional. Like
Yeah,
in
but
between.
you gotta have those to move
Yeah.
stuff forward.
Yeah,
so.
like the final fight in the nativity scene was not very good.
no,
No.
like
It
that
didn't make
was
sense
bad.
at all.
In the attic with that girl was like
Yeah,
fine.
Oh, they're
fine.
trying to go full Home Alone. and,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move on to performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and
Go for
start.
it.
I already mentioned this at the beginning.
Mhm.
John Leguizamo and David Harbour carried the film wholeheartedly on their back. They probably have a lot of Advil right now because the rest of the cast basically did nothing.
Now,
Yeah.
I'll caveat that with I liked the little girl,
She was
Leia
good.
Brody,
Yeah, she was fine.
and Beverly D'Angelo as the rich mother.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
thought was actually pretty good.
her character was kind of one note, but
Well,
she played that note
it's,
well.
it's totally fine for her to be one note. It's just the rest of the family cast.
Her son he really graded me.
Oh, so
they're
it took
all
me
just-
forever to
ugh.
figure out where I've seen him from because I was the whole time through the movie going like, he's got a really unique face
He
and I don't
does,
like it
yeah.
and I don't know why.
He looks like a really
was-
baby-faced Tim Curry.
He was vicious in the
does.
Cowboy Bebop TV show.
Oh no!
Yes.
no.
So we get out of the movie and I'm like, I've seen that man and I cannot place
I
where. So
understand why
I went straight to the IMDb and I was like, that's why I hate him.
because
He was vicious in the
he
Cowboy
has the
Bebop
deer in the
Netflix show.
headlights look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got such a unique face.
He does.
And
Yeah.
I didn't like him in this movie, but I automatically didn't at the front. And I was like, I recognized him in my body, like when it did fight or flight mode of like him bad, do not like. And I couldn't figure out where I've seen him. And then I kept trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but then like as an actor, he was just like, fine.
I was kind of like that was me too. I was like, okay, well maybe like he's just really weird in
Right.
universe, so like we just got to get used to him.
Rich
And then like
kid, eccentric.
yeah, and then by the time we got to the end, I was like, he never changed. He was just the same
was.
deer in the headlights guy the whole time. Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't realize that he was vicious. That changes everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked
Ugh.
obviously in a bad blonde wig when he was vicious,
Yes.
but yeah, so that's who that was, FYI. And then,
yeah.
the mom was like fine. Not Beverly D'Angelo, the little girl's mom,
The
his estranged wife.
yeah.
She was fine. She was supposed to be, I think, the most relatable person.
Yeah.
The kid's son of the rich sister.
He was kind of fun.
I like
He was fine.
yeah,
I like Bertrude.
he was fun.
Alexis Louder on the mother,
the mom. Okay, yeah.
and then Alexander Elliott on Bertrude.
Yeah,
Bertrude,
That was
yeah.
that was a good joke.
Yeah,
I got
that was
a
a good
laugh
joke.
from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bertrude, the sister I did not like.
No.
Her,
now
like-
her like boy toy,
Yeah.
I liked him. He was fun.
Yeah. It's
So-
a pitch deck.
So I have the best gift ever: a financial investment.
Right.
That is wow.
Yeah.
Perfect. His quote about I could take at least 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
So that's an actual quote from Mark Wahlberg describing what he would do if he'd been on the planes in 9/11.
oh
Oh,
no.
wow.
Right? Oh,
Wow. Art imitates reality, guys.
Yeah.
Woo.
Life imitates art.
Whatever.
So I think there were a couple of moments that were pretty heartfelt, right? In that performance. So the bit where the little girl is like, wishing Santa would bring her parents back together.
Yeah.
And the two of them are in the hallway. Like that, I think that whole interaction of all of them
That was good.
it felt good. It felt natural.
I liked him like
Yeah.
running down to try and grab the walkie-talkie.
Yeah, digging through like, yes,
Yeah.
and making up the story. Like
Yeah.
that is the kind of thing that I want in
a
a
Christmas,
Christmas movie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you're working to make the magic of Christmas happen. He doesn't know that Christmas magic is real and Santa's on the roof.
Yeah.
But he's like trying to promote the belief and stuff. And
Yeah.
that was more of what I wanted.
Yeah,
That's
and
more
clearly
plot,
his
but-
character, this is more plot, but yeah, clearly his character does have good intentions.
Mhm.
For
the most part.
For the most part, I mean, like he does try and steal, $300 million from his
I
mom.
got pretty good intentions about that money too. I mean, come on,
I mean, hey, if there's $300 million on the table,
just lying around.
Yeah.
I did like basically not all, but the main henchman.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
the
The-
British guy.
The
Yeah.
blonde lady and the
So, well, I also like Krampus, Brendan Fletcher.
Yeah.
Just the sheer. He's like, this
Oh
is
yeah.
where Leguizamo was like, this is why you hire a psychopath. They'll try anything once. But yeah, Mitra Suri was Candy Cane, and then I'm trying to find.
I did like whenever they were like, "Is it really Santa?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they're talking to the special forces team that comes up, and they're like, "What?"
It's
Did they-
Santa.
yeah,
Like,
It's Santa. We think it
Yeah.
might actually be Santa.
It's like, whoa,
What?
we'll just go over that. We're just
yeah,
gonna
let's
ignore
just
that.
blaze right past that.
Well, or when Candy Cane said, something. She said, I don't remember what exactly she said about Santa out loud, and Leguizamo's character is just like, look, it's okay to be an idiot. You just can't say it like that out loud.
you can't be
Right.
an idiot out loud.
Out loud. Andre Erickson, it was a gingerbread.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was our like, kind of like our second in command henchman.
Yeah.
I liked those characters. I think they did a good job with what it was.
Yeah.
It's just, again, they spent a really long time on fights and stuff when we could have had more just interaction.
Yeah. Of them just being idiots.
Build some chemistry between our characters, please, for the love of God.
I think
Yeah.
the danger you run into with that though is that they're bad guys that are going to die, and you don't want the audience to like them too much because then it's like,
I mean,
oh no, they died. You know?
I mean that, but they can have some payoff, right?
Yeah.
They could have. I agree. I think what they should have done is leaned more into the comedy side of it. Like
Yes.
got rid of a few of the minor action scenes that
Yeah.
really didn't bring. I think trim a lot of the heartfelt stuff up, especially at the end. Like the back half of the heartfelt stuff just
It
didn't
was
like.
rough. It was
Yeah,
rough.
fine, whatever. What are we doing here? Trim that stuff out or reduce it a lot, and then give us more comedic scenes between those two henchmen or between John Leguizamo and each of them, or
Yeah.
just to give me a little more of that. Because
Yeah, give the actors more
Yeah.
room to work, right? Like,
Yeah.
give them something to work with.
All right.
And
So we're moving on to score.
Opinions on the music. Well, there was some Christmas music that was, maybe a little remixed and used
Yeah.
in some fun ways. Honestly, when I was sat down to write some notes down, I had a real hard time remembering music.
That's
did
never a
too.
good sign.
That's an
Yeah.
indictment. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. So yeah, about all I really had here was, hey, we had, Christmas carols, some classic Christmas songs with a little bit of twists on them.
well,
Yeah.
and some juxtaposition against hyper violence.
The violence, yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, no, it just there wasn't much there.
Yeah. Well, but with the
I think
movie,
what was there was serviceable though.
Yeah,
it worked,
Like
yeah.
using the Christmas movie music during a action scene is kind
It's-
of like you're saying the juxtaposition
yeah,
is
it's
there.
fun.
But nothing elevated it above just being like Christmas music.
Yeah,
Ever.
probably the best use of any kind of music is whenever he tells the kid to close don't
and
don't
sing
listen
Jingle
to just
Bells
sing
really
Jingle Bells
loud.
Oh,
really
yeah.
loudly. That's probably the best use of music in the film.
Yeah.
Just because and she probably also knows that
Mhm.
he's about to just bash this
ham,
girl's
yeah.
skull in, and with that kind of thing, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also a $20 million budget.
Sure.
I don't expect to have like a Hans Zimmer soundtrack.
Yeah, they
to
didn't
something
come in here to
this.
throw down.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was fine.
And to me, though, also nothing detracted. Like there was never a
No.
musical cue or like a music they
Or
played that I was like,
it's the
"Oh,
wrong
what is
note.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why would they put this song in here?" Everything fit.
yeah.
So like it was perfectly functional, but nothing really stood out as like great.
yeah.
So far, we're just really average.
And,
Yeah.
and so is the movie. So that's tracking consistently.
Tracking well.
Yeah.
Plot?
Plot.
Plot.
Okay.
I'm gonna make Andrew go first.
Okay.
Andrew.
Sure. So there's it's one of those things where it's like I try and give enough of I'll say a grading curve whenever I watch. Clearly, like it's not a parody film,
No,
but
it's
it's borderline of like you're not going there for this deep like story,
no, yeah.
and I understand that. Probably actually what killed a lot of the suspension of disbelief already
Mhm.
was the fact that it took there's a lot of moments where like someone would like do something and like everyone else would just kind of stand around and like stare at them,
Yes.
where it's like you have guns, you guys are the bad
Yeah.
guys here, you've already murdered so many people, like just kill these
Keep
people.
pulling
Yeah.
the trigger.
Yeah. Or, like the kid runs away and it takes them like, I swear, like 30 minutes to find her in the attic, the most obvious place to go in a house.
While she's
Yeah.
making booby traps.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
going up and down these stairs.
Hammering
clearly.
a nail through wooden steps totally silent.
Yeah,
But and it's got some of the same like you have to forgive the plot in the same way you have to forgive Home Alone sometimes. Where
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
but even in Home Alone, they go, he's got several hours to prep because he knows they're coming
Where
tonight.
she's
had,
the
like,
only one there.
10 minutes.
Yeah, she's got
in
like 10
theory.
minutes.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is like they did a lot of kind of similar to Die Hard where they set stuff up and then it pays off. Like you see the icicle
Yeah.
and then you see the
Mhm.
guy fall out,
So you
And-
know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that was done like competently and
Yeah.
that like everything made sense, everything tracked. They did a really good job of that. There wasn't any like plot holes where it's like, well, where did that icicle come from? Or like things like
Yeah,
that.
or like
yeah.
whenever Santa, starts sucking on the candy cane, you're just like, oh, well, we know where
Yeah.
this is
We know
going
where
to
this
go.
is going. Yep.
So they did a lot of that deliberate like setup payoff, which was good,
Mhm.
but I don't think it was handled as well as like a movie like Die Hard.
Yeah.
Where like it's subtle and you're like, oh, okay.
It doesn't
and
have a deft of a hand.
Yeah, it was kind of very overtly like in your face and
Yeah.
just like, this is a big spike on the ground. What could happen? We're fighting in a window.
We're in a
And
window
like-
above a big spike.
yeah, which
Hmm.
makes the reveal when he falls out of the window and stands up. You're like, what could he possibly see?
Yeah.
Oh, the guy's on the spike. Yeah. So, but from a plot standpoint, it didn't do that thing that some even bigger budget movies do, where just like they don't explain how one character just knows this stuff, or they
Yeah.
cut to a thing that happens
Mhm.
just because it's cool instead of setting it up.
No, I will say, just kind of going back, I really liked that essentially Santa's backstory was like essentially the origination of actual Santa Claus. Like,
Oh, is it
yeah,
for
yeah.
real? Okay.
Like
he was
like,
a Viking that killed people
Well,
with
no,
hammers.
because so Santa Claus comes from Norse mythology and
Yeah.
Finland and that kind of thing, and like that is like pretty close to kind of what it is, and I'm glad that they had that in there. And it's very rare for me to say this, but I would probably have preferred to just have a movie of about that than this.
Okay.
I mean, I honestly, from kind of the way the movie was headed, right? I thought what we're gonna have like a Santa Claus moment where he like passes on, and now the dad becomes the next Santa or something, or like he
John
like
Leguizamo is the
John
next Santa.
Leguizamo becomes like he takes a bad person and they become the next Santa
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas Carol.
Yeah, and that didn't happen, obviously.
No.
Yeah, ground into a pulp, but I do think the plot missed a lot of, because it's one of these things where it was both too fast and too brief in terms of like the family interactions and like
Yeah.
our heartfelt moments, and then too long interaction. And if you had flipped those two, I
Yeah.
think you would have just ended up with overall just a better movie
Yeah.
entirely.
100%. And like, you do need to have some kind of heartfelt stuff in a quote unquote Christmas
Oh,
movie.
100%.
Mhm.
But I feel like they leaned on it too heavy and it didn't work. Like the chemistry between the parents, I didn't really want them to get back together. I wanted them to get back together because I wanted the girl to not be sad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I didn't really care for either of her parents or care about them getting together. So like when they got back together, I wasn't like, yay. I was like, okay, fine,
All right,
cool.
Yeah, we
it's
already knew where this was
expected.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like so to me, like if you trim a lot of that out and lean harder on comedy,
Yeah.
and have a lot more funny
Mhm.
moments. Because I feel like the action was there for the most part.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was. Like
Well, and
the-
that's what you're going for here.
yeah, and
Yeah.
there was some lines that made me laugh. There was some comedy. I just feel like it needed more. It
Yeah,
should have
just-
just leaned harder that direction.
Yeah.
Have we done the inevitable where plot has become entertainment?
Yes, pretty much.
I think
pretty
so.
much. Yeah.
The natural
The
transition
natural,
has occurred.
such a
Well, I
perfect
mean-
progression for whatever reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, generally, like if the plot is good, you're probably going to be entertained.
Yeah,
Yeah.
As a general rule.
Yeah.
That is fair.
But it's one of those things where we've been dogging the movie quite a bit.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the film, and I wouldn't mind watching it again. I'm just not going to be like, I need to go see this again.
I think it falls short of being like, I'm going to watch this every year.
Yeah, like a holiday
Yeah.
staple.
Yeah, it never quite hits, the same highs as like a John Wick or like a pure action
Right,
movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it never hits the same highs of like a bonkers, comedy, even like a Deadpool or a Bullet Train.
Yeah.
It never quite
Mhm.
gets there.
Mhm.
So it kind of exists in this like, it's perfectly fine. It is enjoyable. If you watch it, you're not going to have like a bad time, presumably. I don't like guarantee that or anything, but like,
it's one of these things where if you're like, I want an action flick, you're not going to turn to this.
no.
I want a Christmas movie, you're not going to turn to this. I want a comedy, you're still not going to turn to this.
Right.
It hits all three. It just
It just doesn't excel at any of them.
Any of
It's
them,
kind of
yeah.
just a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, I would just rather watch Die Hard and then watch Christmas Vacation and have better action and better comedy, right? And like two
Yeah.
with your
movies.
heartfelt, or just Die
Yeah.
Hard and then Home Alone.
So
Right, yeah.
yeah,
Die Hard,
like,
Home Alone,
yeah,
yeah.
so I definitely say too, I think that a lot of the action was a little bit too conventional. I think like when you're dealing with like essentially like the dichotomy of having Santa Claus be
Yeah.
this essentially mass murderer for, but he's killing bad guys. They're on the naughty list. That's fine.
Yeah.
And that like
confirmed on the naughty list.
yeah, but it's more on the lines of I think they could have been more creative with a lot of their murders or kills.
Sure.
I was really waiting for him to like open the bag and like a canoe comes out and like impales
Yeah.
the dude or something. I was waiting for something like
some
that.
fun stuff like that would have been a little bit better.
Or he
I
puts the
think.
bag over a dude's head and closes it, and it's like, what's that mean?
Yeah.
And like the bag just kind of puffs back down and just
Or or he just puts someone
collapses.
entirely in a bag
And
and,
then
then
just
closes
disappear,
it,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you just never see him.
Yeah, like I think
Yeah.
there could have. It was just a little too conventional of just like,
Mhm.
hey, there's guys with guns and I got a hammer.
Well, because I think where the action really stood out as fun was when it did get kind of non-conventional, like when he goes up at the chimney at the end with John Leguizamo.
Yeah. There could have been
When
more
he's-
like kind of fun stuff like that.
Yeah, doing stuff with the bag and the guy stabbing, the presents and stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the candy cane. All that stuff was like cool, more of that. And it was
Yeah.
just a lot of it was kind of pretty
or they're like
boilerplate
they're
action.
fighting and the bad guy is using the Christmas lights as trying to choke him out,
yeah.
and then he goes out the window and it almost pulls him too. Like that stuff works and it's Christmas because it's Christmas lights. and-
I did like the couple times that you think when they're fighting in the arcade area that like, oh, this guy's totally dead now. Nope, he's still alive. Oh,
Yeah.
he's almost nope, still alive. And then but like it wasn't like, oh, I can't believe he's not dead. It's just like, wow, this guy is really mad.
Right.
So
And
angry.
yeah, and then he finally like turns on the lights. I'm like,
Turn-
yeah, that was pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
catches fire.
Yeah, and the deadpan of him like listening to the radio as like
As this dude's head just
like
catches on
burns.
fire.
There's smoke all around. He's kind of waving away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they
that
were-
was
they
a
were-
pretty funny interaction too when she calls him and he's like, "Hello?" He's like, "Is this Santa?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you not busy? I'm taking a break. He's just like sitting there on top of this dead
Yeah,
body.
yeah, there were definitely some good moments in there, but they could have just gone a little bit harder with it, I think.
Yeah, and I think also almost from the very start of the movie, right, when we are introduced to our like gate guard guy,
Yeah.
a friendly gate guard,
Mhm.
and you're like, okay, well, based on the premise of the movie, the dude's either a traitor or he's dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
well, he's dead,
He's
right?
dead.
And it's like, well, I think just from that kind of start and who the character is introduced as, you can already tell they're gonna miss the tone. Because like when Candy Cane goes off on the guy who works for our head honcho lady, because he was like to her like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Cutting it lengthwise? It should be widthwise. Worst caterers ever. That's the kind of person we're like, cool, he gets his just reward, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we have, like, I don't know, like there's payoff there. Whereas when we're just killing the friendly gate guard who's working on Christmas Eve, like,
who's worked there for 40
yeah,
years.
who
or
knows
whatever.
everybody talking
Yeah.
to the little girl and everything. Like, all right, guys, y'all missed the point of this.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like I think their goal was to just show that these guys are ruthless and bad, but it's like
they
we
want
don't
the shock
have to.
value of it. Yeah,
Like they're bad.
We already
got
know,
it.
yeah,
We-
they've already
we're
murdered like
established.
the entire staff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, like, really flimsy. He just John Leguizamo's character, Mr. Scrooge. Mr. Scrooge.
Yeah.
He just knows everything, right? Well, how? Why? We don't know.
I
he
kept
does his
expecting.
homework.
Well, when she said, my kill squad will be here, I kept expecting him to be like a former member. Like
Yeah.
when she says the thing about her brother or whatever,
Or
which-
he's the brother or something.
yeah,
right?
or, yeah,
somehow
some
he's
kind of
like
twist.
connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for the other shoe
and
to
then just
drop.
never
it never
happened.
There's
did.
no payoff there. Yeah, or like he worked for one of their company's factories and they laid everybody off for Christmas or
Yeah.
something. Like
Yeah,
there was nothing there that would have really amped up, because ultimately, do you want people to be like, yeah, I love the bad guy? No, not really. But do you want it to be at least kind of relatable?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need something.
yeah.
So overall, fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Aggressively fine. It does sound like we're winding down here.
Mhm.
But before we go, thank you for listening this far.
You've made it.
You've made it. You survived.
Prophecy foretold.
Little Christmas magic. Come on now. But if you really liked what you heard, we love some support out there. We do have a Patreon.
Mhm.
You can check us out. Support us for as little as $1, guaranteed one bonus episode every month.
And those bonus episodes are varying in subject matter. It could be about fast food. It could be about movies, video games, all sorts of other random
Seasonal
things.
movie
You
recommendations.
can listen to me and Ryan almost come to punches over James Bond openings.
We did. We just edited the punches out.
Yeah.
So don't let him fool you.
I watched it. I saw the blood fly.
No, but the other thing is that they're a different format than these, episodes. They're not like your normal reviews. They're like we do tier lists. We do just, all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, just general discussions.
Yeah. They're a lot of fun.
Anime recommendations.
We do.
You
We
want
do
to
have
start
those.
an anime? We've got an episode for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But beyond that, if you don't have $1, like we said earlier, we love, a like, a review, a share, a comment. Join us on Discord. Come say hi. We want to hear from you.
Yep.
But that does sound like all the time we have for this episode. Until next time, I'm Steven.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ryan.
And as always, every spoiler was intended.
Is Rudolph in a lot of other
I don't know.
I don't think.
Christmas
Have we
things?
ever seen, I'm trying to think of Ernest Saves Christmas. I
No.
don't think Rudolph's in that. In the Santa Claus, Tim Allen, I don't think Rudolph's
No.
in that, is he?
Yeah, it's just 8.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's only in Rudolph.
Rudolph.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
I wonder if Rudolph is copyrighted.
He might be.
It's possible.
If I own the Rudolph copyright, I'm reaching out to Violent Night and be like, so what? How much are we thinking?
And if Rudolph can kill someone, we'll throw in a discount.
Put that red nose in there and just light it up.
Oh, it burns! He stabs someone and they fall on the ground and he picks them up on their nose and